I haven't been, too lonely without the original C9 members, because I was with Medios since last year, like summer, and it's kind of like cycled before that. Before that, we had like highest support. I think we had Rush Jungle at the time, and we still had Balls Top. So there was that, and then there was the Medios Jungle still, and then yeah, since then it's been a little lonely. I mean, I've become pretty good friends with the current roster now, so it doesn't feel like bad or anything, but I do miss the old C9.
Oh, my feel.
Better love story than Twilight.
Welcome back to round 2 of FlyQuest versus Cloud9. Well, Sneaky, gonna have to put all that love aside, because that was a real bloody game between those two teams. Sneaky clearly not feeling too much remorse, consistently killing his old teammates.
Fine line between love and war, But yeah, I agree.
Which he shattered.
He did.
Brutally.
Yeah, C9 pretty dominant in game number 1. FlyQuest definitely struggling, really trying to pull together some wins in the later half of the split to avoid relegation. I mean, that would be a pretty steep drop from where they were last split. It's not long ago that they were in the 3rd place match. And now here they are. They've been struggling for a long time. When you look at the later half of the spring split plus the summer split, FlyQuest's record has been pretty rough.
Yeah, and it really has been rough for the team, and I think that last game showed a lot of what is good about the team. I mean, aggression is good in a lot of ways, and that is how the team gets leads, but at some point you have to temper. I think High has said throughout the season, we didn't do enough, and then now I feel like they've overcorrected and maybe they're doing too much. So finding the balance is difficult, especially in seat on stage. So we'll see if FlyQuest do have changes here. Otherwise, Cloud9 are going to have a very short day for themselves.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I think that FlyQuest, a lot of their members perform individually very well. They make great mechanical plays. They team fight pretty well. They're doing a lot of things very well. But the problem is their macro play is lacking. Sometimes they do not temper that aggression. You can see a lot of times it feels like the FlyQuest members move into hero mode where everyone is trying to make these individual outplays instead of just playing patiently and playing around whoever's the strongest or playing around the most important members of the team. And the priority on J4 is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Over Caitlyn. And this could be, I mean, I'm actually really surprised, to be honest, to see J4 that highly prioritized, especially because Moon is playing it mostly as a jungler. He's really on the hype train, it seems like, for this full tank Jarvan jungle. And I mean, he has been effective to his credit. He has had some really good games on Jarvan, and really the early games in general have been pretty strong for him. He's been able to be proactive. He's been able to threaten level 2 ganks, to do a lot of full clears and then into ganks. Like he's doing good stuff with the champion, but should it be picked over Caitlyn? I don't know. I just think that Caitlyn gives such a freebie lane against so many champions that it's really tough.
I guess we'll see. Just to recap the bans quickly, Elise, Galio, Thresh for FlyQuest, and 3 tanks on the C9 side, Cho'Gath, Maokai, and Zac all taken away. Looks like Contractz moving to a different tank. Gonna have to have Gragas this game, although is, I think, technically flexible, but rarely seen top lane these days. And like you said, C9 also happy to get Caitlyn nice and early.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Caitlyn win rate. This is a champion that has seen a ton of play, is played by all teams. It's not like this is something where only the top teams play Caitlyn, that's why it has a good rate. It's closing in on a 60% win rate, and after the win last game, which I imagine is not calculated in this, would be right up there. So, like, that is a very consistent, very powerful champion. It bullies lane against almost every other AD carry. You're able to siege very convincingly. The team fight is still strong despite the nerfs. So definitely a really, really powerful champion, and you can see why it's almost always prioritized.
Yep, and for Sneaky individually, including that last game, 5 straight wins. Oh, not straight, but 5 plays and undefeated so far with the champion. Orianna, Jhin, and now LeBlanc join in, though, in the draft as, again, high showing priority for the Orianna. LeBlanc, every now and then, I feel like a lot of some teams always ban it, some teams never ban or pick it. I think Jensen has shown, especially at Rift Rivals, that he can overperform on this champion, but in the LCS has only played it, that looks like once.
Yeah, it's one game. He did win that game, but does not often get the ability to actually play it as a counter pick. So the fact that Moon is going to select this Orianna 4 high early on means Jensen can get the first round counter pick. That's one of the advantages of the red side, and they are going to leave support and likely top for later, so we'll see where the bans are going to be focused.
Looks like Rumble, like you said, for C9. There's 1 Bard ban by FlyQuest, so that's 1 support. Still Blitz, Taric to play. Thresh as well actually open.
No, Thresh was banned away in the first round, but It's interesting because if Cloud9 does a double ban on top, you can just play J4 top. So if you ban Rumble and you ban out Kled or whatever, you can say, well, fine, I'll just play J4. It's actually normally where people play the champion. Moon is one of the few that is really running it in the jungle, so that's not really too big of a deal, and that's why they are kind of spreading out the bans between the two remaining roles. We'll see if FlyQuest elects to go for the same sort of strategy, or if they really are going to target Smoothie more heavily. There's still a lot of picks. I mean, there still is Taric, there still is Blitz, there still are a lot of the enchanters and stuff. You know, you can still play things like Nami, and Janna has really risen in priority. So they are going to do the same thing: one support, one top ban. But Kled is still available. Camille is still available.
That's exactly what C9 want right now. I'm guessing they'll take his support away. Probably happy to blind it, although kind of depends. I think they probably want to see exactly what FlyQuest have going. Give Impact that counter pick, but certainly a lot of consideration here. And looks like mixing it up again for C9. That is going to be Taric. All right, I've been had. It's not Alistar, but going back to a pick that has worked so well for the team.
Yeah, Smoothie has won all 3 times he has brought it out. This will be his 4th game on the champion. Certainly seen a lot of success with that. And with that Taric pick, you are expecting something that is pretty dive heavy in the top lane, because I think it works very well with those sorts of champions. I mean, if you have a Kled and you send him in with the Taric ultimate, you can stun off of that diver. It's very powerful. I think it's much worse with champions who are trying to kite and poke and this sort of thing. So that is something they have to be cognizant of. And Gnar is going to be the top lane pick for balls, so they also are going to be looking for something that can work well into that. I do still think that Kled can work, but almost all melee matchups in the Gnar have to be played very aggressively, because if you are sitting back, you will be passively worn down, poked out, and Gnar will get the advantage. So if Impact wants to go for one of those melee picks, he has to be willing to go aggressive, to get Contractz up there and try to put that focus on balls.
I think something like you've mentioned, Kled or Camille would be picks that do fit into the kind of comp C9 are trying to build, but certainly have to be careful in that 2v2. Jarvan Gnar is pretty potent.
And you also have to be careful about the fact that, hey, if you draft too heavily for comp and ignore lanes, and you draft losing lanes or losing 2v2s, then you can't always go to that. So they are actually going to flex the Gragas up top. So this is something where Impact, yes, he should not really win the lane, but he should be able to hold on, he should be able to farm, and he should be relevant, right? Plus, Taric combination with the Rek'Sai is very, very powerful. The Rek'Sai burrows in, especially if you are going for the things like Chilling Smite. It's very easy to set up for the Dazzle, especially in combination with your knockup. So that is a pretty nice combo.
I like it. Kind of expecting Contractz to play a bit more aggressive. And this is something I was actually going to mention in the last game, where I think Contractz, especially when he first came onto the scene as a rookie, it's like, you know, it's a young, solo queue-oriented player that came up through Challenger and is now on a pro team. Everyone almost has the same image of this jungler. He is hyper-aggressive and loves to playmake. And we saw that. His early Lee Sin games, his Elise all year long. It's kind of the player that you could be excused of pigeonholing into, oh, you're just an aggressive, like, high-tempo jungler. Contract's total champion pool is actually incredibly diverse this split. So it was his first game on Maokai last game, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, like, he's not the type of player to play Maokai, but I actually think he's someone that's very on top of the metagame and deserves some credit there.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's just a jungler that likes to win.
Yep.
I mean, he's playing pretty much whatever is meta, he's playing whatever is best for the team, and that is what you have to respect out of a competitor like him. As you said, first game on Maokai, last game. He has played Kayn, he's played Zac, he's played Jarvan, Rengar, Nunu, Ivor, and like, he's really played a massive variety of champions this split, and certainly does deserve credit for that champion pool, and we'll see what he can get done in game number 2 here with the Rek'Sai.
Well, he has played Rek'Sai. The win rate is not too hot, unfortunately, for Contractz, so we'll see if he can break that curse this time around. FlyQuest looking to try and equalize this one and move into game number 3. And kind of see if they can keep that aggression up, and if so, if they can convert it a little cleaner. That's been kind of the obvious criticism to level at FlyQuest. Seeing on the other side, I mean, I think keeping up with a team like FlyQuest is good. Maybe not, you know, the game that you really want to be playing. You probably want to be smashing even harder or just playing a bit cleaner. But you know what? It was a high-tempo game, C9. They brought the noise.
It was a high-tempo game, and they won in about 30 minutes. So I think they're going to be pretty pleased with that, regardless of the skirmishing and the aggressive kill trading and stuff that they had. It might not have been the cleanest game, but it was certainly a resounding victory. But once again, we're back to this scenario where you look at FlyQuest team, you're thinking, okay, AoE team fight, hard engage. You have Jarvan alongside, you know, the Jhin ultimate to set up that engage, and you can actually combo the Gnar ultimate with that Jarvan ultimate because he creates that terrain for Gnar to actually stun you into. And then when you look over at C9, yes, they can team fight, but someone like Jensen on this LeBlanc is going to be looking much more for small skirmishes, for split pushing, for this style of play. Thankfully for FlyQuest, they will have Balls, who is pretty strong in the split push as well, who can look to answer and can look to create that own pressure. So we'll see what they do decide to do.
Yep, certainly feels like C9. I feel like, comfortable after game one, mixing things up quite a bit. Could have taken the Syndra again, but didn't want to. Instead, gonna opt for this LeBlanc. Looks like a blue shot there for Moon. Contractz on the Raptors. Impact, excuse me, can move back towards the top lane. So we'll see where these junglers do go next. And probably a good idea to keep the camera down here in bot lane, because I'm expecting even continued aggression here.
That's certainly the case, but I think this one is going to be not quite as crazy. I mean, it's Thresh versus Blitz was what we had last game, and it ended up being so aggressive. This is a lane with the Karma where you can try to poke out, Smoothie, poke out Sneaky, but you can see the more defensive options that have actually been chosen here by Smoothie. He goes Wind Speakers, he goes Coin, so he's going to be able to kind of play this more passive style where he is getting extra mana back from the coins that spawn. He's going to be able to kind of heal up and just try to play this as more of a farm lane since he's going into a Karma and doesn't necessarily want to brawl.
You can see prepping those minions. No Targon to help execute, but easy enough here. Sneaky the last hit under the turret. And Moon actually checking the blue buff. Does not see Rek'Sai, so Contractz, as we can see, has fully cleared that top side of the map. So some information there for Fly. We'll see where Contractz does go next. Looks like dipping mid.
Yeah, he is looking over for High. High is playing to the bot side, but if the chain lands, it could be tough for him.
Chain's already landed. The root on the other end as well. Contractz with the flash on Burrow. High gonna get chased down by a red buff Rek'Sai. That feels bad. First blood to Jensen.
Yeah, too late on the flash there for High. The chain had already connected. He was not able to break it, and once that chain landed, it was lights out. As the trading does commence in the bot side.
Both shot lining up, but not used yet by Turtle. Gonna have to burn on a minion soon enough. Lemon getting some poke on a Sneaky though. Looks like Smoothie able to keep Caitlyn nice and healthy as we watch this one again.
And Jensen needed to land the chain for this gank to work out. If he lands it, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill. And High waiting quite a long time. He flashes as it actually connects. So Contractz is able to flash in and be able to follow that up. But it's tough for High because Jensen was point blank with the chain, so even if he flashed earlier, maybe he would not have had enough distance to actually break that. Either way, well executed gank there for C9, and the fact that First Blood goes over to Jensen is exactly what they want.
And that is one of the things, and I think the big reason to me is why Jensen's LeBlanc is so threatening, because the gank assist is insane.
If you can land the chain, it's really powerful, and the fact that High is double combat summoners, has to use both of them, still dies. Jensen is playing TP LeBlanc, right? He's playing for the split push, playing for that later game. He doesn't have to use anything. Gonna even be able to just walk back to lane with that First Blood gold, and he's in a great position right now.
Yep, Contractz also continues 100% First Blood participation with his team, so kind of see where all that action goes. As Dazzle on the bot lane, but Smoothie already a little too low. Gonna get rooted, but gets the shields up just in time. Bit of healing coming through, but again, the FlyQuest duo playing very aggressive and effectively in this 2v2.
Yeah, they certainly are. Turtle, he is on the Doran's ring, remember, so he has double potion. Sinky just used his one potion, and we have been seeing more and more of this kind of AP Jhin start. Some players are actually going for AP blues as well to just really up the damage on their Q, make kind of that last hitting, the bouncing easier. Plus, obviously, they are trying to do it also for the additional mana regen to be able to spam out and push in. So it is a pretty effective start, has gained a lot of popularity.
Good jump there from Balls, but Impact out of mana, so it looks like he's going to go back to base anyway. Balls just waiting for the wave. He's probably going to try and cancel this one, and Impact, yeah, a little too greedy on that recall spot.
Balls also with just the little move that he did, he tried to actually clump up the minions, and when you clump them up like that, your minions will focus fire your opponent's minions faster, so that means that the minions will be denied from your opponent, it will push towards you, and that essentially forces out the TP from Impact. So Ball's going to have to answer himself, but it essentially takes away the option to not do that from him.
Yep, Balls also TPs to his turret, so a bit of extra safety just in case Contractz was lying in wait, but an early Glacial Shroud there for Impact, and those phage components for Balls means that top lane's going just fine for either side at the moment.
And tracking those item purchases will be pretty interesting. Impact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go straight for something like the Righteous Glory. Some pretty aggressive trading here in the mid lane, and it's tough for High because Jensen is on a corrupting potion plus that Dark Seal, so he has the additional regen and he can go more aggressively for these trades, and that's what he's trying to do.
Shockwave actually on the Jensen, but Smoothie's here in the mid lane. Contractz also coming in for a revisit, and he gets the next kill.
Smoothie with the flash dazzle stun there, so well done. 3-man collapse coming in. High with no summoners, no chance for him really to escape that one. And that was set up very well by Jensen and his aggressive trading. So excellent early game here from Cloud9.
Yeah, Impact also keeping Gnar away. Ball's trying to trade, but a good body slam. Able to keep most of that damage off for now.
And Impact's real goal here is just farm. If you can keep the experience even, if you can keep the farm even, you don't have to kill this guy, you don't have to pressure the turret. Here is the play again. High already relatively low. You can see Contractz coming over the wall. Smoothie looking for the stun, flashes in to secure that, making sure there's no way out there for High.
Nice play and a good roam from Smoothie. Once again, that trio for C9 continuing to apply pressure in the mid lane.
And you can see the priority on upgrading this Nomad's Medallion. This is something that's used to be pretty atypical in pro play for supports to upgrade their gold generation item early on. But because the Nomad's Medallion gives you so much gold, I mean 40 gold for every single coin that actually drops, it's really worth getting it on that early base, even in pro play. And this is something that I certainly recommend you do for your solo queue games, because the amount of generation it actually gives you is insane. Like, you can have thousands of gold from this item easily in the course of a game.
Just pick up those little coins, and there you go. 40 gold as Smoothie picks up one. Dazzle lands onto the Lemon. No follow-up, though, with a potential trap. That nice little trade there as they get some good poke in onto the Karma. But again, just going to be a pretty heavy amount of farming here in that bot side. Looks like Turtle at least starting with a serrated Dirk, so I'm expecting one lethality item and that BF Sword for Sneaky, nice and standard as well. We've seen some Dust Blades, but mostly Ghost Blades into standard Jhin builds, so kind of curious to see what Turtle wants to do here. And I think, given the C9 frontline, he's probably going to go a more traditional build.
Yeah, you would expect so. Though Rek'Sai is going Warrior, so he's not going to be like super tanky for a while, so there could be some merit to actually going for the lethality build. We'll see what he decides to do, but definitely wouldn't be surprised to see something like Ghost Blade into IE Rapid Fire. That's what we're going to.
Moon's here. Jensen trying to play it safe, but it's a 2v2 as Contractz also here. In fact, he's going to start by knocking up Moon. Jensen trying to get an angle. Oh, long range Q lands, but
look
not
at
able
the
to follow up.
Damage. I mean, Contractz with the early Warrior did so much damage there.
Ooh, Dazzle lines up just barely, but the root does finish onto the Taric Smoothie low. As Jensen backing onto High, going to miss that chain. Just going to keep going. Yep, does get the double Q as High just keeps getting chunked. Shades of old LeBlanc, Azale.
I mean, you just keep trading nonstop. High doesn't even have a refillable potion, let alone the corrupting, so he's always going to fall behind.
Execution, LemonNation, flash, but Contractz going to follow Ace in the hole. Not needed. Contractz able to get the kill. Turtle tried to block, but now he's in danger of getting dove. Bastion in onto Contractz as Exhaust comes in for Smoothie. Turtle flashes, but he's going to get stunned. An easy double dive there for C9.
So well done there by C9. Starting with the chunk on Moon at mid lane. Contractz knows that Moon had to go back to base after that, so he can go to the bot side. He can play aggressively, knowing that there's not really much chance of Moon being there, being able to fight. And that was really well done, again, by Cloud9. And Jensen is carving out a pretty big advantage mid lane. It's very hard for High. He's actually having to spend a lot of gold on these potions.
And Mana even again expends the Shockwave to chunk down Jensen, who's probably going to have to play with a bit more respect at this point.
I mean, well done by High.
Is coming nose, so maybe not. Another 3v1 in mid lane. High's going to try and get out of here. He does have 2 sums.
He can retreat up to the top side.
Oh, Pyro Dazzle was nuts! High, goodbye. Jensen with a snipe.
Oh, Jensen even able to dip in and pick up that kill. The 3-man squad making another return. Has to be so frustrating for High, who despite these disadvantages had actually fought back and traded very well in the mid lane, maybe in a position where it could stabilize, but again, Smoothie and Contractz show up, put Jensen ahead, and Cloud9 is just getting so much done with these attacks on the mid lane.
Yep, 20 CS up for Jensen, actually 25 in the lane right now. He's got 1,000 gold plus on High as far as total gold leads go, and Contractz has done so much hard work in this game, starting with that first blood kill to continue his 100% participation, now 3-0-2, and you can kind of tell why he wanted to get a bit more aggressive with his item build.
Definitely so, and we'll see if he actually does decide to continue building aggressively, like going to something like a Black Cleaver, and that's likely going to be the case here as the Fade is picked up. I think it makes a lot of sense, as he is already snowballing and can be a really big damage threat for quite some time if you go into the second damage item.
Well, certainly mid and jungle looking good for C9. They're up a huge amount of gold, actually.
honestly, everything's looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, Impact is holding pretty even in the top lane, has his Righteous Scoring completed. So we talked about his job is really just stay even. So you can check that off. Mid lane's going very well. Jungle is ahead. Bot lane is doing well. Everything is going C9's way right now.
Yep, Jensen still getting chunked high. I mean, to his credit, is playing aggressively. Moon also back behind the lane, trying to get something done, but Jensen is going to drink his potion, take his blue, and surprise, surprise, Contractz and Smoothie are back near mid lane. So Jensen, though, he's going to commit for this blue. Contractz going to tunnel back over, and that should be the buff delivered over. Jensen still pretty healthy with all those potion charges, actually scooping up the wave. Contractz doing extra special nice jungle leases today.
Yeah, Jensen not going to be able to get that buff just yet, but we'll go back now, and Contractz very nicely holding for him.
I was actually just trying to start the grump as well.
Do not do this to your junglers in solo queue. That is about as tilting as it gets. It's like, no, just hold it there for me, bro. I got to go get this mid lane wave real quick. I will take that blue buff 100 times out of 100.
Didn't even have like a Cinder Hulk to help burn out some neutral damage. Just to actually sit there holding S on the keyboard.
Yeah, feels bad.
Contractz, though, I mean, he's up to a pretty good start, so maybe happy to donate some additional time to Jensen as the Ocean Drake over to Cloud9. If the laning phase wasn't going well already, it's gonna be made even easier as Smoothie caught. But pretty tanky on the Taric and plenty of cooldowns to burn just in case, but just walks out pretty slowly back towards Sneaky.
Yeah, that early Ocean is actually very effective. And when you're thinking, hey, Jensen's going to want to be in a side lane, split pushing, he's getting poked out by High, that could be very effective. And now, there's a 4-man squad down here. They're looking to set up the dive. Lemon, if he gets caught by this chain, probably going down.
Might not matter, that damage is huge! Does go down to Jensen, the last Q weaves in. It's just too easy right now for C9.
Yeah, no flash out there from Lemon. I guess just thought he was going down despite the fact that he had the summoner available, accepts his death, and C9 going to be pushing, looking to get some damage down on this turret. You can see Impact even roaming down to mid lane now, perhaps looking to make another play on High, who has just been the target of Cloud9 this whole game long.
Turtle on a trap, takes a big chunk there from Sneaky, who's going to pressure down this turret. Lemon returning back from base. Moon is still here in the bot lane as well, helping clear out. Sneaky, taking a few too many turret hits, but Contractz back.
Contractz looking.
Another dazzle lined up. The flash route is going to find Turtle. Just needs a little bit more. The Elder of Contractz is enough, and just deal with it. As the flash does catch Moon, but no follow-up there for C9. Jensen, though, back down. Flashes Gunblades onto LemonNation. But Lemon's going to get out, burns the flash this time.
Yeah, they do get their support out this time, but they lose WildTurtle. The turret will certainly be going down, you have to think. And they are moving back towards mid lane, so Jensen will be able to pick up the wave. The red buff is being stolen away here by Contractz, and this is such a tough game to come back from for FlyQuest.
And there's Sneaky with the turret. Cast a creep just around long enough. Sneaky grabs that last auto. Solo go for Sneaky. And 5,500 gold up for Cloud9 to watch this one again.
And here's the play again. They know they can go super aggressive because the Taric ultimate is available. Contractz simply waits till the summoner is used and then utilizes his ultimate to follow. Jensen looking for the play here. Perhaps thought Lemon didn't have his flash because he didn't use it on the previous one. But this one is respected and flashed away from there by Lemon as Jensen got a solo kill. Ouch.
I mean, always a rough one, but I mean, Jensen had 3 kills already from not 1, but 2 different people roaming to his lane. So, I mean, it sucks for High, but you can't really blame him at this point.
No, I mean, there's been so much attention on High. The roams have not really been matched. Here it is again. Look at that damage. He just gets deleted. Not really even much chance to actually use those summoners at all. Once the chain landed, he pretty much died 100-0.
Yep.
Ouch.
And it's only going to get worse. I mean, that Gunblade's finished. Jensen going to swiftly move towards item number 2. And High with no real defenses to speak of just yet. Just with that Morello finished.
And Cloud9 playing it very intelligently. Rotate the bot lane to top. You already took that turret. Have Impact simply continue to hold on the bot side as he has been doing. Yes, he is down on farm, but that is okay in this situation when you're winning on the rest of the map. So Jensen, is going to be very, very strong there. They're going to be sieging topside. And really everything is going according to plan for Cloud9. And FlyQuest, you have to feel like you're getting a little bit towards the desperation time. They need to probably look for some sort of play, because if they just kind of passively bleed out this turret, they've already lost Rift Herald as well now. I mean, what can they do?
I mean, High's getting aggressive on again. That's going to be a kill. Who's going to get it? Jensen. He wins the lottery this time.
Just brutal. I mean, like, look at these stats at 15 this game. He's so strong in this series, I believe that is probably.
Whatever it is, it looks good. These are the kind of stats Jensen has been putting up all split long as he's looking to aggress onto this turret. WildTurtle's getting 1v1 by Contractz. Contractz does have his ult if he doesn't need it. Actually just goes ahead and donates it back over to Jensen for kill number 6. Cloud9 are rapidly approaching a perfect game.
I mean, at this point, you're starting to feel a little bit bad for FlyQuest as, I mean, they're diving almost the inhibitor turret.
Oh my god, goodbye LemonNation. Oh, I'm gonna miss you.
If you don't laugh, you're gonna cry, Pastry. I mean, this is looking pretty brutal for FlyQuest as they are getting utterly destroyed by Cloud9 in this game number 2. The Rift Herald just now going in. Not maybe the best time to summon it as High is actually back, but they probably can push for the turret anyway, and Sneaky is uncontested on the top side. He's gonna be knocking down that turret too.
I think they're gonna tower dive. There's Contractz going in. Taric ulti out. Jensen looking for the stun, finds the route onto move from that chain. Contractz taking a little too much heat. Gonna have to be careful. Up burrows, goes in middle for a little while longer. Perfect game, Ruin High, grabbing the shutdown.
Ruined, but they do get the turret, I believe. Nope,
not even that.
Survives.
All right.
Balls uses TP there. Doesn't look like he's gonna be able to get too much.
Hopping back over, looking for Jensen, diving straight under the turret. Jensen actually maybe getting 1v1 balls, got the flashy flash boomerang, grabs the shutdown. That's back-to-back for FlyQuest.
All right, we'll call Worth on that one. Balls TP's in, gets the shutdown. And looks like they'll be able to knock down a turret here too. But Impact is pushing on the bot side. They did lose their top turret as well. Mid lane turret almost knocked down. FlyQuest is certainly massively behind. They need to make some plays. They need to have something happening here. Balls is strong right now, certainly ahead of Impact, but he can't afford to sit back.
I mean, they'll take the trades at least for FlyQuest. It's a good amount of gold being given over to the top half of the map. And Balls returning back down to that bot side for more split push action. To have 2 items finished for Sneaky though, the same is true for Jensen. And Smoothie didn't even go Ice Stone this game. Actually upgraded to the Speedy, whatever that's called now, Talisman of Ascension.
Yeah, I think it makes quite a bit of sense going for the Talisman this game because they're so far ahead. Utilize this for dives. It's essentially a mini Righteous Glory. You already have the Righteous Glory on Impact there too, so that is going to be pretty strong for the engages, and they feel like they're in a position where they can force the fight, can look through the engages. And I think they're right.
I think so too, and Impact has been notably absent from this game, partly because he's just been farming, which is all he really needed to do. So I'm excited for what a Talisman sped up Righteous Glory Gragas move looks like, because it'd be pretty comical to watch him move at breakneck pace towards FlyQuest carries.
Never seen a Batman run that fast before.
No, I have never. It's kind of like Bob, a fighting game character from Tekken. He's like really big guy.
I'll trust your
goes training and like some monastery forever, and he moves at like lightning speed. It's hilarious.
Getting some lore from Tekken. There you go.
It's gonna be. That's what I'm gonna think of when Impact rushes in towards, I assume, High or WildTurtle. But WildTurtle still. All right, fine. Don't need the Caitlyn ultimate. We're gonna get stunned up. Also, C9 just diving with impunity.
Ball's almost mega. Maybe they can make something happen.
No! Taric ulti is gonna come down. Wasn't really needed at the end of it all, but. No kills given over. C9 going to take yet another turret. That's number 5.
And you know what Impact is showing us this game? He's showing us a masterclass on how to let yourself get carried. When the rest of the map is winning, you don't have to do anything except stay alive, except farm, and he's been doing just that. Jensen diving deep and 20 minutes in. They are looking at this inhibitor turret.
Not going to get it just yet. Still have mid lane tier 2 to knock down if they want to kind of complete the game in your more typical fashion, but just an overwhelming amount of advantages for C9. I mean, they fell back down to 8k ahead, now they're almost 10k ahead again, and Jensen is 1v1ing everyone.
Yeah, Jensen is able to dive in, takes down Turtle, and is able to distort out actually immune to that ultimate damage, and that has to be frustrating for Balls, getting CC'd up with the Mega Transform available. Not sure that they would have been able to pull off a play, but I mean, Shockwave was up, so maybe something happens. Maybe they can hit a Mega Gnar into a Shockwave and turn something around. You really do need that sort of combo. Like, you need to hit a J4 ultimate on multiple carries, Gnar ultimate onto the wall, then Shockwave them. Like, it has to be that or it's nothing.
All right, some good news. Jensen missed the chain, so I lived this time around. Passive not proc, but Jensen still applying that pressure, and C9 looking at a very early Baron.
I could tell you're a glass half full kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get one shot. Today is a good day.
I mean, given what has transpired over the course of this game, I think that is certainly a victory for High. But C9 onto that Baron. FlyQuest will know, but they're going to try and force something, and C9 is going to take Jhin ult. Moon's going to try and get in there. Oh, not going to get the steal. That means Moon is going to sacrifice himself for the attempt. Jensen follows through, finds Lemon again, but a good shockwave from High. Might turn it back around. Taric still dishing out heals as Contractz looking to assassinate Orianna. Attempt successful. Ball still caught up. Finally, Megazzy crunches away, but Impact looking to follow up. Might have a play in mind. Body slam does land in after the flash. Sneaky able to take down Balls for that one.
And Contractz is
daring Turtle to come fight him.
I mean, Contractz is comically strong. He is 4,000 gold ahead of Moon individually. Like, that is absurd. As Cloud9.
Oh no, Turtle, not like this. Impact. Actually, it's Jensen gonna TP in for yet another kill. Just gonna collect again some more freebies. Goodbye.
I like how Smoothie heals him before the TP goes through so he can pick up the assist. True KDA player there from Smoothie.
We found it. It wasn't Jensen, it was Smoothie all along.
Smoothie all along.
As the Nexus turret's now under threat. This game has gotten well out of hand. C9 looking to end it very quickly. Not even 23 minutes in, and this one's looking to come to a close.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to close this one out. Turtle is down. We'll see if they want to go that crazy forward, and they're deciding to make the safer call. Back off, knock down a second and hit, but Jensen now.
LemonNation chunked again. There's a kill. Jensen is picking up everything. 12 kills will make it. As C9 take yet another inhib, and might as well keep going at this point. Baron Buff's still up for 2 minutes, and the super minions will get there eventually.
I mean, there's nothing to stop them. They even have the Ocean Dragon to give them some more regen to stay around. It's just one next turret remaining. They're looking to dive.
In there. Taric ultimate going to come now for maybe one last time. Balls goes airborne, looks to hop in and gets a scoop back in onto Impact, but he's going to look to go down. Balls does Balls. Jensen still dominating. Trade kill going to come out as Impact will fall, but Cloud9 Nexus exposed. Art's going to look to take it. WildTurtle trying to do what he can as Jensen is going to stalk back out from under the knockup by Jarvan. Lemon still the constant threat. Oh my god, Karma, I'm so sorry. Retribution has come this day. LemonNation's been picked on by this very fed LeBlanc. Cloud9 in record time going to sweep the series.
23 minutes in, knocking down the Nexus. 14-1-5 for Jensen. I did not stutter. He dominated that game. And a monster performance out of Cloud9. This has got to be their most dominating series, all split.
I think so. I mean, Jensen, there's just something about this man's LeBlanc. Things just go horribly wrong. I mean, I remember a playoff game a long time ago where Jensen set an individual kill record for a game on that very champion. And sure, the champ has changed since those times, but still showing that this is the snowball champion, and when he snowballs, this is what happens.
And you've got to give credit to Smoothie and Contractz for how they snowballed that mid lane. High was, fine in the 1v1 for the most part, but he was getting picked on so heavily. 3-man ganks to the mid lane over and over and over, putting Jensen ahead, and then he took over the game with the lead that he was given, really going off, getting kill after kill after kill, pick after pick after pick, and FlyQuest could just not hold on.
And Jensen is giddy after that game. You can see the smile on his face, so happy with how that one went. And Cloud9, again, looking to maintain the best possible position moving towards playoffs. They needed a convincing win, and that's what this series was.
And they have the easiest remaining schedule. As far as strength of schedule goes, they're playing teams at the bottom of the table. They can look to rise in the standings. They can look to build that momentum towards playoffs. But for the other side of the coin, I mean, it's FlyQuest now really up against it. This is tough for them. They are sitting now in the bottom 2 spots. They're looking to avoid those promo relegations, but they need to actually be able to climb up to 8th at least.
Certainly do, as Contractz with another big smile. Had a great game on Rek'Sai that time around. And Cloud9 is happy for a pretty resounding victory. Sneaky, a little more humble in victory. I think, yeah. I mean, it's all innate for him. It's all about killing those former teammates, which he did plenty of.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to beat your friends. I don't know if you want to beat your friends that bad.
Yeah.
That kind of, it's hard to gloat afterwards.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, again, that same trio that we've seen perform so many times really just had a field day here. Smoothie and Contractz, honestly, in some ways, 2 of the best supports in the league, because they're making sure Jensen looks amazing game after game.
They really are, and I think that one of the things that Cloud9 has had all season long is how they play around mid lane. Jensen gets a lot of credit, and he deserves a lot of credit, but the team as a whole enables him. The way that Contractz and Smoothie make those roams, create vision and areas where he can play safely and play aggressively in, is very impressive, and I think contributes a lot towards his success.
And I think on the other side, if you think, okay, well, that trio, that core's looking good, what do the other lanes need to do? We saw it from Impact. You take a tank, you have a bad matchup, just play safe, sneaky. Ever the consistent player on a champion like Caitlyn also just needs to farm. Like, when it doesn't work for Cloud9, it's because some of these pieces start falling away. And we have definitely looked at top lane to been not looking as strong, but Impact definitely seems back to form. And Ray, if he does come back in, I imagine he'll be feeling just as good.
Yeah, you would expect so, but for FlyQuest, you have to look, I think, somewhat at the draft, right? I mean, the lack of priority on Caitlyn, both games, very surprising to me, see J4 prioritized above that, giving over that really safe bot laner for Sneaky 2 times in a row, despite the fact that the FlyQuest bot lane played very well in game 1. They couldn't snowball that, and partly it's because he's on Caitlyn.
Certainly is, and for more on that 2-0 from Cloud9, let's check in with Digon and Cloud9's playmaker in the bot lane.
Thank you very much. And I am joined by A-tier support, Smoothie. Now, Smoothie, there was a lot of playmaking in game 1. What makes you so deadly on playmakers?
I don't know. It's right now in the meta, if you have a good matchup in the bot lane, it's really easy to snowball the game. Like you see, like Alistar is just one-shotting the enemy ADC and just lots of playmakers. I don't know, it's really hard to find actually like figure out the meta this time around for some reason. But we just figured out that it was just kind of bring this all in and just if you win, you win.
For your career, change is a constant, whether it was the different team that you're on, the type of player that you've been, and you found something now that seems to put you at the top. What makes you so great at adapting to whatever's necessary for your team?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not really like amazing or anything. I do what my team needs me to do, and if I need to play this one champion, then I learned that like really fast after like a day or two of solo queue. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really anything that special. I just play the game, and I love it. It's really fun.
Super modest. Now let's look ahead at the future here. You guys have Envy and Echo Fox as your last 2 games before you get into the playoffs. What kind of form do you want Cloud9 to be as you head into the playoffs?
Well, this week, honestly, we were struggling to grasp the new meta after the patch. Hopefully, we like know 100% what we want to pick and stuff for next week. Like for example, the first game against TL, we were kind of like question mark on what we had to pick. We picked like 3 or 2 split pushers and like Tristana, who also wants to like kind of split push. So it was really hard to win the game from like a team fight perspective. But yeah, hopefully going to next week, we can figure our stuff out and win the games.
Well, this week was definitely good for you. 2-0 week with Smoothie. Thank you so much for the interview. Let's go ahead and send it over to Dash and Mark for more.
Thank you very much, Digon. Cloud9, I mean, stomping 2-0 here, especially this second game, right? We had a high kill count in the first game, high kill count in the second game. Second game was just a heck of a lot more one-sided.
Yeah, all the kills were mostly on one side. For a while, it looked like they're going to perfect game. A little bit of a mishap, but otherwise, still just a very dominating performance out of C9.
You heard Azael talk about it. One thing that C9 has had this entire season long is that focus around the mid lane and the ability to play around Jensen here very early on, collapsing the mid lane and starting to get that LeBlanc pick rolling.
Yeah, really weird timing there. We did a full topside clear, something you don't see that much, and then didn't reset and go bottom, actually just ganked it. So that was a bit peculiar, but then Contractz didn't let up, roam mid with Smoothie later, gets pickoffs in the own jungle just by having that kind of advantage and going for invades, and then setting up a dive. Him and Smoothie comboed together super well this game overall to secure a number of kills.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Contractz had 100% kill participation for a large portion of the game. Of course, once Jensen got to a state where he could just solo people out, you started to see the kill participation, widen for the entire team just because they couldn't keep up with him. And of course, you see the damage numbers there as well coming out of Jensen. But I think we have to give a nod to Contractz, and he will be receiving player of the game for enabling that LeBlanc pick.
That's one of the things that when you look back at this game and you just look at the scoreboard, you're probably like, well, how the hell did Contractz get it over Jensen? But the reality is that LeBlanc gets this level of agency when she gets ahead where no one can touch her, no one can handle her. You can put her in a side lane and she just wins the game. Right. And she got to that point because of Contract's play in the early game. And yes, at a certain point, who can not only, stop LeBlanc, but who can even keep up with her on her own team? Right. She goes from mid lane, hops 2 walls, blows somebody up, runs down bot lane, does the same thing. After a certain point, you're like, all right, I just can't follow that.
Right, he's running TP too. So, all right, he himself has that global opportunity to be anywhere he wants at any given moment. you know, outside of how quick pace and how dominant both Contractz and Jensen were this game, I know you have still some concerns around FlyQuest's approach to champion select and the fact that we still ended up with a Caitlyn on the red side of the map.
It's something that a lot of teams seem to be struggling with in the meta. You even heard Smoothie saying even though they won, they weren't super clean in the TL game that they had yesterday. And this time around, they give the Caitlyn first pick away. They end up giving away a LeBlanc as well. And then since they had taken the Orianna away early, C9 didn't even need to use their bans on their second rotation on other mid laners, which is usually the case when you last pick that LeBlanc on red side.
Right.
So there's a number of things at play here where they just keep ending up with these kind of weak drafts overall. They ban out Thresh, and Smoothie's a great Taric, and even though you're maybe delaying some of his early game playmaking, he can still run wild on the Taric pick.
I mean, so here we have, to me, a really sweet contrast, you know, across the two games in where C9 finds success. Yes, they're still capable of winning scrappy games that aren't necessarily played around the mid lane, right? We saw a lot of that develop around the bot lane in game one, but things just look so much cleaner for Cloud9 if it is around that mid lane.
And it's something we criticize, that it is very kind of obvious when you play against C9. Get ready for them to snowball mid lane. Get ready for them to do that. But it is moving in a nice place for the meta for them, just because top lane can play more tanks now. Bot lane has been support playmakers the whole preseason or whole season so far, and it's continuing to stay that way. And then the big question is the jungle, because for the most part, Contractz has looked good on Rek'Sai. We know he can play Elise, but can he start playing the Maokai really consistently? Can he play the Cho'Gath and other things that might rise up?
One thing's for sure, C9 put on a clinic today. Now we've got another series coming your way. Up next, TSM try to end their week in first place as they face Team Envy. Don't go anywhere.
The root tech on the other end as well. Contractz with the flash on Burrow high. Gonna get chased down by a red buff Rek'Sai. That feels bad. First blood to Jensen. Smoothie's here in the mid lane. Contractz also coming in for a revisit, and he gets the next kill.
What can they do?
I mean, High's getting aggressive on again. That's going to be a kill. Who's going to get it? Jensen. He wins the lottery this time.
Oh, Gnar, I'm TP. Yeah, I'm looking. Come on, J4 the flash. I'm good already. This is Murray. Yeah, I'm ulting guys, ulting guys. Nice.
Oh no, Turtle, not like this. Impact. Actually, it's Jensen going to TP in for yet another kill. Just going to collect, again, some more freebies. Goodbye. Cloud9 in record time. Going to sweep the series.